I've also worked personally on the problem of figuring out which ads are the most successful ones in a campaign. I did this through a Bayesian logistic regression model, and you can find more about this work on the link provided. Another question that a marketer might want to ask is, did a campaign have any effect on sales? But how can you measure the difference before and after a campaign when there are many other factors which could drive sales up or down? Well, Google has created an algorithm to answer this question. This algorithm is called causal impact, and you can find an R package if you want to use it. So what this algorithm is doing is it creates a counterfactual. It feeds a model on a time series, and then it can simulate an alternative history where the campaign never ran. So you can see this on the graph here. You have sales data or clicks on an ad. And let's say that you didn't change anything, where this could be, adding more ads or changing something in the campaign. Well, if you hadn't changed anything, then this is what the result would look like. But this is what you get. So this is the effect. As you can see, and this is the cumulative effect. That's a very powerful technique that helps you figure out whether some kind of intervention actually had an effect on your marketing efforts. Another type of analysis that's very powerful is RFM analysis. RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value. Recency refers to when was the last time someone made a purchase. Frequency refers to how many purchases has the customer made, and monetary value refers to how much revenue was made from the customer. By creating variables that summarize these three different types of information, sometimes we can get analysis back which are very powerful. Here's an example. From this blog from Microsoft, you can find a report that says that by using RFM analysis and machine learning, but nothing more complicated than this, they could get close to the winning accuracy of various competitions. So these three features can quite often be the most powerful features you could use. Other ways that data science can be used in marketing is, for example, personality analytics for influencers. This is a more advanced application. And there's a use case by Mazda, the link is provided. It used identification model which was powered by IBM's Watson in order to extract the personality features of different influencers and find the best ones that would most closely correspond to the company's profile. Data science can also be used in a B2B setting. It doesn't always have to be B2C. So the Singapore Actuarial Society released research on a dataset of around 41,000 records with over 20 variables that around the development of machine learning models for assigning scores to leads depending on their potential. It looks like that you can get quite decent accuracy in lead scoring through the use of machine learning as long as you're using the right features. So this is a very powerful application because it can save your salespeople, your sales team, lots of time if you have a system like this in place. How? By discovering where the best leads lie and focusing on those leads before moving on to the rest. Another very interesting application of data science in marketing is contextual advertising. On the left-hand side, you can see an ad where the context is not taken into account. Someone is reading a website called Cooking Light, and there's an article or an image from Pinterest with some food, and on the right-hand side, you see an ad saying, "Drive more traffic to your business." Well, this ad is not very related to the topic of this website or the photo. On the right-hand side, you see contextual advertising in action. You have an article which is around cooking chicken, and there's an ad about a quinoa brand which is very easy to cook. You can do it like in less than 10 minutes, and this is actually the kind of food that could suit really well with chicken. So the second example is an example where a user is most likely to click on an ad because they're interested in an article, and it's more likely that they're also interested in an ad that relates to the article. So this is the main concept behind contextual advertising. Choose what ad to display based on user and content. So if someone visits, let's say, a web page related to sports about a football team, you can show them an ad where you ask them to bet on this team winning the championship. This is a standard application of machine learning, and the most important factor, obviously, is the amount of data you have around users and the quality of the data. We saw earlier regarding the research around Facebook The most important part, the most important features when you try to predict whether someone will click on an ad are the historical features around a user. So this is no exception, because the problem of contextual advertising is closely linked to the problem of figuring out whether someone is going to click on an ad or not, and then finding ways to optimize the ads that you display based on that. Another application of data science in marketing is content generation. We're not there yet in the sense that these applications are not that widely applied yet. However, we're slowly getting there. Through the use of deep neural networks, we can generate text, we can generate sound, we can generate video and images. Some of those things are already being implemented. Gartner says that in 2019, automated text generation will be a key component of 90% of business intelligence and analytics platforms. So this demonstrates that automated text generation has matured enough, maybe not to the point that it can replace human writers, and maybe this will never happen, but this technology has matured enough to the point that it can actually be very helpful in many settings. This technology is usually implemented through deep neural networks, usually recurrent or sometimes convolutional neural networks. It's the same with images. There are deep neural network models, mainly generative adversarial neural networks, which can generate fake images. So I can show these images to you and ask you, which ones are fake? Think about it for a second. The answer is that all of them are fake. They were all generated by a neural network. However, they're so realistic that if someone doesn't spend a large amount of time looking at them, they probably won't notice it. So this demonstrates how useful deep neural networks can be for image generation. There are still different ways in which this technology can be used, but we've still not seen it in marketing. However, it's very likely we're going to be seeing applications around image generation in marketing coming out pretty soon. Weebits is a platform that generates videos for marketing purposes. I'm not sure what's the technology they're using. They might be using deep neural networks, they might not, but essentially the platform works in the following way. You feed the platform text news story, and then it finds relevant images and overlays the text with the image. You can find some example videos on their website, and it's a very interesting application of data science for quick content creation. This was Stelios from the Tesseract Academy. I hope you enjoyed this video where we talked about the applications of data science in marketing, and I hope to see you in another one of our videos. Thank you and goodbye.